This man's leaky gut and colitis would have been under control in just a few months if he met with these doctors first. So they wrote a book, and they're from Cornell University. They would study how stress affected the human gut. When they interviewed this man, when they talked about things that were stressing him out, his intestines started to become red and they started to bleed. And they could see this because his intestines were like hanging out of him. But then when they talked about things that were neutral, his intestines actually within seconds and minutes went back to a normal pink color. This all started when he got into a fight with his mother, and it was so stressful that she actually had a heart attack and passed away. Shortly after this, he had his first colitis attack. He eventually just recovered naturally and the symptoms went away. And then he got a job at a World War II airplane factory. He was a mechanic. And he started to get into a fight with his boss. And this is what brought his symptoms on again. He had to quit because the symptoms were so bad, but eventually the symptoms went away. Then he was drafted into the Navy to fight in World War II. So one thing in common that these doctors saw across a lot of their different patients is that they would be angry and resentful towards somebody, but they weren't allowed to show it. He couldn't yell at his mom. He couldn't yell at his boss. He couldn't yell at his commanders. Otherwise, he would get in more trouble. So he suppressed it, and it went down into his gut. His symptoms became so bad, he got kicked out of the Navy, and here's where he started going to like a lot of different doctors, and they would mess up operations. They didn't know what was wrong with him or how to fix him. Now he had another conflict just with anytime he talked about his doctors, he would get symptoms because he was so upset with them. And also, he was living with his brother, and his brother was dating this woman that just wasn't very nice. And when he talked about this, he would also get a lot of symptoms. So what these doctors did is they would take somebody into therapy around these conflicts in their life and help them deal with them. And that's how they would get their symptoms to stop.